Akon, international artist, star, and CEO and chairman of Akon Lighting Africa and Selectra.
So how did you get inspired to start this solar initiative, and why in the countries where you launched it?
Well, it all started because ultimately I was a child growing up in Dakar. I didn't have any electricity growing up, and it was always a dream of mine to be a part of the Africa's building infrastructure. And the whole idea was to start with energy because energy was the key to starting the infrastructure building in Africa in general. So without energy, nothing can happen, and that was why we just chose to do energy first.
And where did, how did the idea come about? Were you just hanging out, having coffee or something, or?
Oh no, it was actually a aspect of saying, okay, well, I want to get into the energy because it needs to happen in Africa. So what steps do I take to get there? Started reaching out to a couple of friends that kind of understood the energy sector for a minute, and then they introduced me to a couple of friends that kind of helped me put a team together. Chon Young being one of the helpers as far as putting together, who introduced me to Samba Bachili, who's been in the energy sector for over 20 years. So we kind of came together, created a coalition called Akon Lighting Africa.
And I assume your first dream was music,
Yeah, and still is.
And still is. So,
it's a reality. It's not
yeah,
great.
no. First dream that he already is living. Yeah? But when did you first think about using that fame that you acquired? Obviously it takes time to fall into the role that you've been in now. So when did you first think about using that fame? Has it been on your mind since you were young and dreaming about being a...
Oh no, when I was young, music wasn't even a thought. I wanted to be a doctor, a brain surgeon. So it was one of those situations where music just became a blessing to me later on. As my life got older and I was in a position where I had to find something to do that I enjoyed doing but also could be rich doing, and music was the perfect combination. But as far as the philanthropy side of it, I always looked at music as a vehicle to get to bigger and better things in my life, to create bigger and better opportunities for me. And naturally, with that kind of success, these opportunities just happen. And I want to take full advantage of helping people.
Yeah, well, there's so many great famous singers and actors, and from the perspective of those of us working to try to help the world, we wish more of them would have this passion and start initiatives like this. Do you try to get other famous people involved in this kind of initiative, or just in general in helping the world?
Yeah, well, I never really go out to recruit help, especially when it's for good. That's something that I look and seek for volunteers. That's something you would have to personally want to do and want to be a part of. If I have to call you to help, then it's not as sincere as it is if you call and say, Con, I like what you're doing, how can I help?
Yeah.
So I never really recruited volunteers. So it's one of those things where it's clear what we're doing, it's visible, and I'm open to anyone that has ideas, resources that can benefit to what we're doing,
So do you have any more, what are your next dreams and passions, aspirations beyond lighting and solar?
Well, that's the main goal for now. And the main purpose of it is to build my legacy outside of the entertainment, sphere. I want to be in a position where, my name could be along the legends, but not just as a name for something that brought good music to people, but something that actually created platforms to help, generations of people.
And as an American, do you think about getting involved in your home state, in the crazy home country of the United States?
Believe it or not, a lot of this stemmed from wanting to do things like this in the U.S., but as you can see, everything is regulated in the U.S. It would be impossible for me to get into the energy sector in the U.S. because of how the system is set up. But in Africa, it's a different story because it's a up and growing market. It's the doors are wide open for these opportunities, and it's a level playing field. If you have the mindset, the drive, the connections, the resources, you can literally be, parallel to the major corporations doing the same thing and actually be, competition. You know what I mean?
I totally understand. Yes.
Yeah.
Breaking down those regulatory barriers is not easy.
Yeah.
So you're doing a lot, but I gather from your music that you're really quite an introspective person. So I think you're always looking to improve. So do you have any thoughts on what you could be doing better with this kind of thing?
I think it's a lot I'm learning as we go.
Yeah.
You never really know how good you're doing it until people recognize that you're doing it. So I know we're doing pretty well because we get a lot of great compliments. We get a lot of people that want to support what we're doing. So my idea is, just keep doing what you're doing, and as I go, I get to learn more things. I'm improving my strategies and ideas as far as how we plan and how we kind of set up ourselves in the future to not make the mistakes we made coming up. So things are just getting better as we go. So you just allow things to happen and just improve and learn from the mistakes that you made in the past.
You sound like a perfect entrepreneur. No doubt about it, music attracts a lot of people, but may not be attracted to solar power, helping the world in general. Do you have plans for any really creative ways to attract people through music and funnel that back into helping society, like certain special kinds of events? We have already some special music events for helping the world and whatnot, but Band-Aid, that kind of thing, But do you have any ideas for creative avenues for that? I think you're doing one this week, right?
Yeah, we're actually always involved in a lot of different festivals. We have the PXF, which is the Passport Festival that I do in Atlanta every year, which generates and kind of gathers all the international artists around the world for a huge festive weekend in Atlanta, and I'm growing that out to be also in Africa as well. These are things, and then of course we have the ALA Fest, which is the Akon Lighting Africa festival that we're putting together. Eventually, where every part of Africa where we launched a project, we have festivities and things to bring the community together, which is all powered by solar as well. And then those proceeds will go back into building more opportunities solar-wise or energy-wise for the communities. So little things like that we kind of incorporate because it helps not only to raise the awareness, but it also helps to raise money to get things done when the local banks is not in a position to help.
We got a few final fun questions, I think. So, what pulled you to music in the first place? How did you get into music?
Well, actually, I was blessed. I was forced to be in it because I just wanted to be rich.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but that was my goal in the beginning, and by any means necessary. So I kind of made a lot of decisions that kind of landed me locked up, and I was in a position where I couldn't. By the time I was released, I couldn't get into a Fortune 500 company or do anything that would help me allow myself to get to that position. So music just happened to be the one thing that I was great at, that I love to do, that actually I could make a lot of good money.
You were just singing you just picked up singing like...
It was a hobby. My dad was a jazz musician, my mom was a dancer. Majority of my family's in entertainment, so it was one of them things where...
It's in your blood.
It was in my blood, you know what I mean? And it came to save me later, so...
And are you driving a Tesla Model X or Tesla Model S
yet? I
yet?
love that Tesla. Listen, Tesla's one of my favorite cars. I had 28 cars, literally, from, you name it, Lamborghinis to Ferraris to... I literally gave them all up just to ride and flow in my Teslas. Like, I only have 4 cars now.
Which Teslas do you have?
I have the Tesla S.
Which
and
one?
The SUV.
85D? Or?
I got the sedan and the SUV in Atlanta, and then same in... literally. Oh yeah, absolutely. I was the first to sign up.
We didn't see the news on that.
Oh no, listen. That boy, it's the truth.
I'm thinking about getting that one.
Man, listen, I gotta have my own Tesla model personally. So I'm gonna reach out to Elon and we gotta work this out.
Sounds like a good idea. I'm sure he'd be up for it. Come on,
we have to.
We'll try to get the news out there. And I typically ask clean tech experts, what's your favorite song? In this instance, it's quite a good opportunity. What's your favorite song? If you can think of like one favorite song of all time.
Man, I don't even know how to. Man,
you can't ask a musician that.
It's impossible. That's wow. No, that's hard.
So I drove the BMW i8 too. It's a beautiful car, but it doesn't compare to the Tesla.
No. And mind you, I was a BMW guy before the Tesla, right? But until the BMW becomes 100% electric, then I'll go get it. Yeah. They have to make the first model, let me test it, and I can vouch for it.
And the Porsche Mission E, if they come out with a fully electric Porsche,
they need 100%. Dude, listen, it doesn't make sense to do half and half. You still 100%. See, the difference with that Tesla that is light is done. The whole car is literally programmed by a computer, so there's no weight, and the torque on it is just, it goes because there's no weight to hold it down. Then you got space front and back for storage, and then to update, I don't have to take it to the shop. I just load it up and it does it online. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's the perfect car.
We're going to say Akon, the Tesla fanboy. This is the title. Thanks a lot, man. Totally understand. I'm 95% focused on EVs these days.
Nah, you got to, man. It's the best. It's the way to go.
Thanks.